Now, the first thing the text teaches about unexpected problems, it is almost too obvious to mention, but it is also too important to skip over. The first thing we need to see, look at the text, is that the Lord is already there before the problem. I just said something important. The Lord is already there before the problem comes up. We just sang one of my favorite songs a few moments ago, When You Need Him, you need only call his name. And one of the things that the years have taught me is that I need him every hour, every day, every moment, every second of my life. See, some of y'all can go for a whole week without the Lord. And when I look at some of your giving records, I see where some of y'all can go almost a whole year without the Lord. Hello. Huh? Y'all fall up in here every now and then shouting on credit. Ain't gave a tithe, ain't thinking about tithing, ain't gave an offering. Give the Lord your leftovers, give more to Gucci than you give to God, and shouting all over the sanctuary, hallelujah, shouting on credit. Y'all can make it without the Lord. Y'all can make it without giving back to the Lord, who just keeps on blessing you in spite of you. But I can't, y'all. I can't. I need him, not just when I have a crisis. I need him, not just when I have an emergency. I need him every day and every hour. I need him in my pastoring. I need him in my parenting. I need him in my preparation. I need him in the proclamation. I need him in the sick room. I need him in the courtroom. I need him in the counseling room. I need him when I'm traveling. I need him when I'm driving or riding just from one place to another. I need him with me before the problem comes up, so when I call him, I don't have to make a long distance call. He's already there. That's why I call him so much, to keep him close to me and to be blessed by the way he comforts me. I heard an old preacher, Otis, down in Macon, Georgia, say it just like I experienced, and I just made his prayer my testimony. The more I call him, the better I feel. And the better I feel, the more I call him. And the more I call him, the better I feel. And the better I feel, the more I call him. And the more I call him, the better I feel. And the better I feel, the more I call him. And the more I call him, the better I feel. And the better I feel, the more I call him. When you have the Lord with you, when an unexpected problem pops up, the problem solver is already there. Point number one in this preachment is the Lord is already there. Say that to your neighbor. The Lord is already there before the problem comes up. Point number two is found, look, between what his mama says in verse 3 and what the Lord does in verses 7 and 8. Notice, if you will. This is also easy to miss, Joe. His mother knows that they are out of wine. She says they're out of wine. They have no wine, which means she either saw the wine steward and the chief steward shrugging their shoulders in despair, or she overheard some guests or the host expressing disbelief and borderline disgust. His mother was not the only one who knew about the problem. The folks serving the food had to know. The stewards and the waiters had to know. Maybe they even told the bride and groom's daddy or the folk throwing the party, because somebody wanted to know where we gonna get some more wine from. Y'all got a private stash? Are there a couple of cartons that we have overlooked? Do you think some of the thugs might have jacked a couple of cases? Somebody else knew about the problem, and somebody there was worried about the problem. Just like us, when we have unexpected problems, we get worried. It is only natural. When you have a negative report from the doctor, it is only natural to worry. When you lose your source of income and your children have no food, no insurance, no happiness, no hope, and it's holiday time, it is only natural to worry. When there is a disease raging and racing through your body and your future is cloudy and uncertain, it is only natural to worry. When life has changed you from driving in the fast lane to riding in a wheelchair, it's only natural to worry. But while verse 5 shows us guests at the wedding worried, verse 7 and 8 shows us God at the wedding working. Remember, this is John 2. What did John just tell us in John 1? This is the Word who's at the wedding. This is the Word who's been invited to the wedding. In the beginning, he says in John 1, was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was what? God. Guests were at the wedding worrying, but God was at the wedding working. God, who was there when the problem popped up, was doing something about it while everybody else was talking about it. In other words, when an unexpected problem comes into your life, if you've got the Lord in your life before the problem, the Lord will work on the problem even while you worrying about the problem. Worrying is natural, but the Word is supernatural, and He will work it out. He can work it out. Yes, He will. But then there's just one more thing that the text teaches me, and somebody here needs to know what the Lord showed me, so let me share it with you. Jesus did what He did to bless the bride and groom. The groom down in verse 10 is basking in all that praise. And we saw this morning in the first sermon for today that the Lord, in sermon number 3, the Lord made him look good when he ain't had nothing to do with it. But there's a flip side to that point, and it is too important for me not to point it out to you. The Lord made him look good. The Lord blessed him. The Lord blessed the bride. The Lord blessed their families. Look at it. Because somebody else asked on their behalf. Don't you know that the Lord does stuff for you because somebody else asked on your behalf? Come on now, I know I had a praying mama who asked on my behalf. I know I had a praying father who asked the Lord on my behalf. When people ask me, how did you do what you did? How were you able to accomplish what you accomplished? I ain't nobody's fool. I know my mama prayed for me, kept me on her mind. I know my father took the time to pray for me, and I'm so glad they prayed. Let me tell you, in case you have forgotten, going to the Lord on behalf of somebody else will bless their lives in ways you never dreamed possible. The Lord does stuff for you because somebody else asked the Lord on your behalf. And He does what He does not because your prayers are special, but because He cares for you. Right now, I'm going to show you how that works right now. Turn to your neighbor and say, He cares for you. Now, somebody's about to be blessed before we leave this sanctuary this Sunday. Come on, Erica. Come on, musicians. Come on, choir. Minister to us. You in the congregation, here's what I want you to do. Turn back. Watch the Lord work. Watch the Lord work. Turn back to your neighbor right now. Ask your neighbor, what do you need the Lord to do for you this week? Just one thing. Not a whole long laundry list. Don't look at me, look at your neighbor. Ask your neighbor, what one thing would you like the Lord to do in your family this week? Just get one thing. Oh, somebody's about to get blessed, y'all. Now you bow your head, just right where you are, you bow your head and ask Him. Ask on their behalf. Somebody thinks that they can't make it. They need to know that God cares. Ask on their behalf. Right now, every head bowed. Somebody thinks that they're all alone. They need to know that God cares. Ask on their behalf. Somebody thinks nobody understands. Jesus knows. Ask on their behalf. Head bowed. Just ask. Ask on behalf of your neighbor. Don't talk to them about yourself at all.
So you think that you can't